You all, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, second day today, second chapter. First we will go through Dhyana Slokas, then second chapter with meaning. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Hari Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gradhitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrutavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayani Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Gnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Duhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Pardho Vassasudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamrutam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona Tata Jayadratha Gandhara Nilotpala Selyagrahavati Krupena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwardhama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Khalu Pandavairana Nadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharya Vajasaroja Mamalam Gita-ardhagandhotkatam Nanakyanaka Kesharam Harikatha Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Muda Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pratvam Shina Shreyase Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः सांख्ययोगः। सञ्जय उवाच तं तथा कृपयाविष्टम् अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणं विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः। Sanjaya said to him to him who was thus overcome with pity and despondency, with eyes full of tears and hesitated, Madhusudana, the destroyer of Madhu the demon, spoke these words. Sri Bhagavanu vacha kutastva kashmalamidam विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यजुष्टमस्वर्ग्यम् अकीर्तिकरमर्जुना. So the blessed Lord said, once is this perilous condition come upon, perilous condition come upon thee, this dejection, unlike of Aryan, heaven excluding, disgraceful, O Arjuna. Whence is this perilous condition come upon thee, this dejection, unlike of Aryan, heaven excluding, disgraceful, O Arjuna. Klaibyam asmagamah partha naitatyayupapadyate Shodram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktotishta Parantapa. Yield not to impotence, O Partha. It does not befit thee. Cast off this mean weakness of heart. Stand up, O Parantapa. Arjuna Uvacha Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye द्रोणञ्च मधुसूदना युषोभि प्रतियोश्चामि पूजार्हावरिसूदना. Arjuna said, how, O Madhusudana, shall I in battle fight with arrows against Bhishma and Drona, who are fit to be worshipped, O destroyer of enemies? Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshamapi haloke Hatvardha kamastu guru nihaiva Bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. Better indeed in this world is to eat even the bread of beggary than to slay the most noble of teachers. But if I kill them, all my enjoyments of wealth and desires, even in this world, will be stained with blood. Na chaitad vidmakataranno gariya yadvajaye mayedivano jayeyuhu yaneva hatva najijivishamaha devastitah pramukhe dhartarashtraha. I can scarcely say which will be better, that we should conquer them or that they should conquer us. Even the sons of Dhritarashtra, after slaying whom we do not wish to live, stand facing us. Karpanya dosha pahatasvabhavaha Pruchami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha यश्रेयस्यान्निचितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रसन्नम्. My heart is overpowered by the taint of pity. My mind is confused as to duty. I ask thee, tell me decisively what is good for me. I am thy disciple. Instruct me. I have taken refuge in thee. So this is how Arjuna surrenders to Lord Krishna. Nahi prapashyami mama punudyat yacchokamuccoshanam indriyana avapya bhuma vasapatnam ruddham rajyam suranamapi chadipatyam. So Sanjaya So I do not see that it would remove the sorrow that burns up my senses, even if I should attain prosperous and unrivaled dominion on earth, or even lordship over the gods. Sanjaya uvacha eva muktva vrishikesham gudakesha parantapa nayoschaiti govindam Voktva tushnim bhuvaha. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus to Hrishikesha, Gudakesha, the destroyer of the foe said to Govinda, I will not fight, and became silent. Tamovacha Hrishikesha prahasanniva bharata senayorubhayor madhye Vishedantamidam vachaha. To him who was despondent in the midst of the two armies, Rishikesha, as if smiling, O Bharata, spoke these words. Sri Bhagavanu vacha ashocya sochastvam pragnavaadanscha bhashase gatasu nagatasuncha nanusochanti panditaha. The blessed Lord said, you have grieved for those that should not be grieved for. Yet you speak words of wisdom. The wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. Natve naham jatu vasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. It is not that at any time in the past, indeed was I not, nor were you, nor these rulers of men, nor verily shall we never cease to be hereafter. Dehi nosmin yadha dehi kaumaram yavvanam jara tadha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namushyata. Dehi nosmin yadha dehi kaumaram yavvanam jara tadha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namushyati. Just as in this body, the embodied soul passes into childhood, youth and old age, so also does he passes into another body. The firm man does not grieve at it. The firm man does not grieve at it. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama payino nityaha tamstitikshasva bharata. The contacts of senses with objects, O son of Kunti, which cause heat and cold, pleasure and pain, have a beginning and an end. They are impermanent. Endure them bravely, O descendant of Bharata. Yam hi na vyadhayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. That firm man whom surely these affect not. O chief among men, to whom pleasure and pain are the same, he is fit for realizing the immortality of the self. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drushtontaha, tvanayostatvadarsibihi. The unreal has no existence. There is no non-existent of the real. The unreal has no existence. There is no non-existence of the real. The truth about both these has been seen by the knowers of the truth or the seers of the essence. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasya nakaschit kartum arhati. Know that to be indestructible, by which all this is pervaded. Know that to be indestructible, by which all this is pervaded. None can cause the destruction of that, the imperishable. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyoktas sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmadyudhyasva bharata. It is said that these bodies of the embodied self have an end. The self is eternal, indestructible, incomprehensible. The self is eternal, indestructible, incomprehensible. Therefore, fight, O Bharata. Therefore, fight, O Bharata. Evam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhau tau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. He who takes the self to be the slayer and he who thinks he is slain, neither of them knows. He slays not, nor is he slain. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यशाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. He is not born, nor does he ever die. After having been, he again ceases not to be. Unborn, eternal, changeless, and ancient. He is not killed when the body is killed. He is not born, nor does he ever die. After having been, he again ceases not to be. Unborn, eternal, changeless, and ancient. He is not killed when the body is killed. Veda vinashinam nityam yaeva enamajam avyayam kadham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. So whosoever knows him to be indestructible, whosoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible, how can that man slay, O Partha, or cause others to be slain? Pansansi jirnani yadha vihaya navani gruhnati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Just as a man casts off his worn-out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off its worn-out bodies and enters new ones. Just as a man casts off his worn out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied itself casts off its worn out bodies and enters new ones. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na soshayati marutaha. Weapons cleave it not. Fire burns it not. Water moistures it not. Wind dries it not. Achedyoyamada hyoyam akledyo sosya evacha nityas sarvagatas-tanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. This self cannot be cut, nor burnt, nor moistened. This self cannot be cut, nor burnt, nor moistened, nor dried up. It is eternal, all-pervading, stable, immovable, and ancient. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanusochitum arhasi. This self is said to be unmanifest, unthinkable, and unchangeable. This self is said to be unmanifest, unthinkable, and unchangeable. Therefore, knowing this to be such, you should not grieve. Adha chainam nityajatam nityam va manyase mrutam tadhapi tvam mahabaho naivam sochitum arhasi. But even if you think of him as being constantly born and constantly dying, even then, O mighty armed, you should not grieve. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrotyuhu dhruvam janma mrutasya cha tasmada pariharyardhi natvam shochitum arhasi. Indeed, certain is death for the born, and certain is birth for the dead. Therefore, over the inevitable, you should not grieve. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. Beings were unmanifest in the beginning and unmanifest again in their end, seem to be manifest in the middle. O Bharata, what then is there to grieve about? Acharyavat pasyati kachidenam acharyavat dati tadhaiva chanyaha acharyavat chainamanya shrunoti Srutvapyenam vedana chaiva kaschit. One sees, this is a wonder. Another speaks of this as a wonder. Another hears of this as a wonder. Yet, having heard, none understands this at all. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam Dehe sarvasya bharata tasma sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. This, the indweller in the body of everyone is ever indestructible. This, the indweller in the body of everyone is indestructible, O Bharata. And therefore, you should not grieve for any creature. Swadharmamapi chaviksha navikampatam arhasi dharmyadiyudhyashreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Further, looking at thy own duty, thou art not to waver, for there is nothing higher for a Kshatriya than a righteous war. Yadruchaya chopapannam swargadvaramapavrutam sukhena kshatriya partha labhante yuddhamidrusham. Happy indeed are the Kshatriyas, O Partha, who are called to fight in such a battle that comes of itself as an open door to heaven. Adha chetvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tadasya dharmam kirtincha hetva papamavapsyasi. But if you will not fight this righteous war, then having abandoned your own duty and fame, you shall incur sin. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtihi maranadati richyate. People too will recount your everlasting dishonor. And to one who has been honored, dishonor is more than death. Bhayadranadupataram nasyante tvam maharadaha yeshancha tvam bahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam. Bhayadranadaparatam masyante tvam maharadaha येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्. भयाद्रणादुपरतं मास्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्. The great battalion commanders will think that you have withdrawn from the battle through fear, and you will be looked down upon by those who had thought much of you and your heroism in the past. Avacha vadancha bahun vadeshyanti tavahitaha nindam tastava samarthyam tato dukkataram nukim. And many unspeakable words will your enemies speak, cavilling about your powers. What can be more painful than this? Hato na prapsyasi swargam jetva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uddishta kaunteya yuddhaya kruta nishchayah. Slain, you will obtain heaven. Victorious, you will enjoy the earth. Therefore, stand up, O son of Kunti, resolve to fight. Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papamavapsasi. Having made pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat the same, engage in battle for the sake of battle. Thus, you shall not incur sin. Yesha te bihita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. This which has been taught to thee is wisdom concerning Sankhya. Now listen to the wisdom concerning yoga. Having known which, O Partha, you shall cast off the bonds of action. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this, there is no loss of effort, nor is there any harm. production of contrary results. So even a little of this knowledge, even a little practice of this yoga protects one from the great fear. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakahyanantasya bodhayo vyavasayinam. Here, O Jaya of the Kurus, Kurunandana, there is but a single pointed determination. Many branched and endless are the thoughts of the irresolute. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadyanta vipaschitaha vedavadarata partha nanyadastiti vadinaha. Flowery speech is uttered by the unwise, taking pleasure in the elogizing words of the Vedas. O Partha, saying there is nothing else. Kamatmana swargapara janma karma phala pradam kriya visesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. Full of desires, having heaven as their goal, they utter flowery words which promise new birth as the reward of their actions and prescribe various specific actions for the attainment of pleasure and lordship. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya parahuta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. For those who cling to joy and lordship, whose minds are drawn away by such teaching, are neither determinate and resolute, nor are they fit for study, meditation and samadhi. Traigunya vishaya vedaha nistraigunyo bhavarjuna nirdvandvo nitya satyastho niryogakshema atmavan. The Vedas deal with the three attributes. Be you above these three attributes, that is gunas. Varjuna, free yourself from the pairs of opposites and ever remain in the sattva, that is goodness, freed from all thoughts of acquisition and preservation, and be established in the self. Yavanartha udapani sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. To the Brahmana who has known the self, all the Vedas are of as much use as a reservoir of water in a place where there is flood everywhere. Karmani vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma palaheturbho ma te sangostya karmani. The right is to work only, but never to its fruits. Let not the fruit of action be thy motive, nor let thy attachment be to inaction. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Perform action, O Dhananjaya, abandoning attachment, being steadfast in yoga, and balanced in success and failure. Evenness of mind is called yoga. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvicha krupana palahetavaha. Far lower than the yoga of wisdom is action. O Dhananjaya, seek thou refuge in wisdom. Wretched are they whose motive is the result. बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्. Endowed with the wisdom of evenness of mind, one casts off in this life both good deeds and evil deeds. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga. Skill in action is yoga. कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः पथं गच्छन्त नामयम्. The wise, possessed of knowledge, having abandoned the fruits of their actions and freed from the fetters of birth, go to the state which is beyond all evil. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishati tada gantasi nirvedam srotavyasya srutasya cha. When your intellect crosses the mire of delusion, you shall attain to indifference as to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. Shruti vipratipannate yadastyashyati nichala samadhavachala buddhihi tata yogamavapsyasi. When your intellect, though perplexed by what you have heard, shall stand immovable and steady in the self, then you shall attain self-realization. Arjuna uvacha sthita pragnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. Arjuna said, what, O Keshava, is the description of him who has steady wisdom and who is merged in the super consciousness state? How does one of steady wisdom speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? Arjuna said, what, O Keshava, is the description of him who has steady wisdom and who is merged in the super consciousness state? How does one of steady wisdom speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? This is the profile of a perfect person Arjuna is asking to describe to Lord Krishna. Now Lord Krishna describes. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyehu atmana tushtaha sthita pragnasta dochyate. The blessed Lord said, when a man completely cast off, O Partha, all the desires of the mind and is satisfied in the self by the self, and is satisfied in the self by the self, then is he said to be one of steady wisdom. Dukkheshvanudvignamanaha sukheshu vigatasruhaha vetaraga bhaya krodaha sthitadirmunirruchyate. He whose mind is not shaken, he whose mind is not shaken up by adversity, and who in prosperity does not hanker after pleasures, who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. Yada samharate chahayam kurmonganiva sarvasah indriyani indriyardhebhyah tasya prajna pratisthita. He who is everywhere without attachment on meeting with anything good or bad, who neither rejoices nor hates, his wisdom is fixed. When like the tortoise which withdraws its limbs from all sides. He withdraws his senses from the sense objects. Then his wisdom becomes steady. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्ज्यं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. The objects of the senses turn away from the abstinent man, leaving the longing. But his longing also leaves him upon seeing the Supreme. Yatato hyapi kaunteya पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इंद्रियाणि प्रमाधीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः. The turbulent senses, O son of Kunti, do violently carry away the mind of a wise man, though he may be striving to control them. तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वसेहि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. So having restrained them all, he should sit steadfast, intent on me. His wisdom is steady, whose senses are under control. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषूपजायते संगा संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते. When a man thinks of objects, attachment for them arises. From attachment, desire is born. From desire arises anger. क्रोधोद्भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहः स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशर्बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. From loss of memory, the destruction of discrimination. From destruction of discrimination, he perishes. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. From loss of memory, the destruction of discrimination. From destruction of discrimination, he perishes. Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayanindriyaischarana atma vaisharvidheyatma prasadhamadhigacchati. But the self-controlled man, moving among objects with his senses under restraint and free from both attraction and repulsion, attains peace. But the self-controlled man, moving among objects, he will be moving among objects with his senses under restraint and free from both attraction and repulsion, attains peace. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्यासु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते. In that peace, all pains are destroyed, for the intellect of the tranquil-minded soon becomes steady. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चा भावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. There is no knowledge of the self to the unsteady, and to the unsteady no meditation, and to the unmeditative no peace to the peaceless. How can there be happiness? Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano vidhiyate तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञां वायुर्ना विवाम्भसि. For the mind which follows in the wake of the wandering senses carries away his discrimination as the wind carries away a boat on the waters. For the mind which follows in the wake of the wandering senses, carries away his discrimination as the wind carries away a boat on the waters. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigruhitani sarvasaha indriyani indriyardhebhyah tasya prajna pratisthita. Therefore, O mighty armed, his knowledge is study whose senses are completely restrained from sense objects. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munihi. That which is night to all beings, in that the self-controlled man keeps awake. Where all beings are awake, that is the night for the sage, the Muni, who sees. Apurvamanam achala pratishtam samudramapah pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakamakami. He, the man of perfection, attains peace, into whom all desires enter as water enters the ocean, which filled from all sides remains unmoved, but not the desirer of desires. Vihaya kamanyas sarvan umanscharati nishrohaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashanti madhigacchati. That man attains peace who, abandoning all desires, moves about without longing, without the sense of I-ness and minus. That man attains peace who, abandoning all desires, moves about without longing, without the sense of I-ness and minus. Esha brahmi sthitih partha nainam prapya vimuhyati sthitva syamanta kalepi brahma nirvanam ruchyati. This is the Brahmika state, O son of Partha. Attaining this, none is deluded. Being established therein, even at the end of life, one attains to oneness with Brahman. Om Tassaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sri Gita Mahacham Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mahacham Gita Sahasramidam Punyam Yapatet Prayatah Puman Vishnu Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadivarjitaha Gita Dhyayana Silasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santahi Papani Purvajanma Krutani Cha Malanirmochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sahruti Tambasi Snanam Sansara Malanashanam Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimantai Sastra Vistaraihi Yasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinishruta Bharatamruta Sarvasvam Vishnor Vaktvad Vinishrutam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Pardo Vassasudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamrutam Mahat एकं शास्त्रं देवकीपुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकीपुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तस्य सर्वं श्रीरामदासार्पणमस्तु ॐ श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम 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 ॐ Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om Pranams to you all. All glory to him. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.